There was a moment I was going through a lot of shadow work, and I ask myself a lot of questions when I go super deep. And I remember last year I was recognizing a lot of my friends separating from me and not really caring. In the moments I was in the hardest part of my destruction, my mentality, a lot of things were separating from me, outside of me, beyond me, and I just was going through a heavy separation or a spiritual awakening. And in the moments of my hardest separation, even from myself, disconnection from myself, I decided to introspect on how is it that I show my love? What is love? And so when you think of what is love, that is all relative. But then when you think of what is love that I express, how do I know what love is to be? You think of, all right, how do I show my love to my friends, my coworkers, my job, my pets, my children, my parents? How do I express my love? And you're going to write down in the moment that you think of this all the ways you show your love. And in this, you'll find a consistency and an inconsistency. You'll see, well, I sometimes show my love this way, and I sometimes show my love this way, but I always show my love this way. And oftentimes, unfortunately, you will see that you show your love in the most conditional way to everybody. Like, you share your conditional love in an unconditional way. And I know a lot of us say all love is unconditional, and I do not believe that. I believe that love is shown in many forms. Like, an act of love is different than the feeling of love. So when I ask you to experience and visualize how you show your love, it's how do you show it? Actions, feelings, how do you show the act of love? How do you feel the love? And it's easier to change how you show the love through action than how you feel the love. Love as a feeling is unconditional, but the act of love can be shifted and changed over time. So that's what we're focusing on here. How can you change the way you show your love if it is not doing you any justice, but still maintain the integrity of your love or love itself? So, for instance, I went back in time and I was like, how do I show my love? And oftentimes I would show my love in words of affirmation. I would look at the highest potential in people and tell them all the things I could see that was beautiful about them. I would tell them all the things, like I would listen to every word that they said. It was a lot of energy for myself, but I would listen to every word they said, every action they said, every micro expression on their face when they reacted to somebody, and I would just express how much love and where they were coming from. So it was like this recognition and words of affirmation, and you could tell it took a lot of effort on my time. And so on their end, they received love, but it was more so validation, which is very conditional. And so I saw that and I was like, okay, well, that's something I can give to people I trust. And it's not something I just express all the time. It's a very necessary way of showing your love. And there's no way, like, you don't need to show that all the time. People shouldn't have the need to have constant validation. Therefore, I shouldn't have a constant need to constantly give that way of love. So, I thought, in what ways do I show unconditional love? And I have had betrayal, I've had psychopaths, I've had narcissists, I've had beautiful people, angels. I've had the latter. And in all the ways, I've never felt guilty for sharing a response. And so for me, words are important, touch is important. And so for me, if someone had done me dirty my entire life and they came through and asked a question, if I answered just based off logic and knowledge, if they asked me, how do I go about doing this? If I answered them in the knowledge I had, I never felt like that was gonna feed me guilt in return if there was no reciprocation, like if there was no expectation back, no matter how bad or how good they were. I don't expect people to give me resources because I feel that I trust myself to go out and get that. However, I feel guilty when I boost someone's ego, or and that sounds really bad saying that, but when I tell people the potential that I see in them, because is it real? It has the potential to be real, but it is not real. And so oftentimes you have to realize that if it's words of affirmation that is your love language, or if it's words of affirmation that is your way to show your love, you can still have words of affirmation as a way to show your love, but maybe it's the way that you communicate. It still comes from the same feeling of love, but you have to change the way that you communicate your love. And so I had to change the way that I communicated. Gift giving, when I had friends, if I freaking loved the shit out of you, I analyzed every part of you so that whenever it was your birthday time, I cultivated where there was community, essence, sustainability, and all of us put effort towards you, and so that you would feel that you were lifted and raised and praised, which is another form of words of affirmation, even though it comes through the form of a gift. I'm not good at giving you a physical gift. I'm good at giving you community, communication, effort, quality time. And so it's really important to look, how do you show your love? Where do you feel guilty? How can you give your love where you do not feel guilty? And I've had, the past 3 years as a massage therapist, I've had people who yell at me while I massage them. I have people who make me feel so dirty and guilty and nasty while I'm massaging them, and I'm still able to give them love. Why? Where's that coming from? And it's coming from a space of surrender. It's coming from a space of, we all need a hug, we all need love, we all need skin to skin. And I've never felt guilty for giving somebody a hug, even if they're threatening me. It doesn't faze me. It brings me sadness, but only from them. So I'm being very vulnerable here, but ultimately I found in my lowest vibrational self, I over-exacerbate the way that I speak to somebody. I'm really good with communication, but I can also be super bad. And so it can be a fallacy of myself and everyone else. So look at yourself. How do you show your love? And where do you find yourself showing your love excessively, and you are made to feel guilty. You feel guilty about showing your love. How do you express your love? And it is unconditional. The feeling is always unconditional, but how do you show it that is unconditional? For me, it's hugs, touch. Not all touch, just hugs. Eye contact is not conditional. I show my love through eye contact, but it is not conditional, and I've found that about myself. If there is someone that wants to hurt me, I cannot maintain eye contact. I cannot. It pains me too much. But someone that shows me that they have integrity and grace and patience, I can stare at them all day, even if they have power issues. So it's really important to introspect on yourself and see, what is love to you? How do people show you love? Can you find it within yourself? Often if you cannot find or differentiate like how you give love conditionally or unconditionally, you can't see how people give you that. And so people give me love. People give me love in patience. People give me love in time. And it's very interesting because those are the things that I battle against the most: patience and time. And so in all this, you have a huge awareness, you have a huge awakeness about yourself, but it definitely sends you down like a depth of what is love. So I hope this tangent that I really decided to go on helps somebody to speak, to feel, to think, to dream, to add practicality to their life. But to take away from this, I think it's important just to see, how is it that you show your love? Don't change the feeling, but how can you change the action? I love you guys.